Hi everybody, it's Don and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Well, we have some very sad news of a family who took their 2-year-old on a cruise vacation, and unfortunately the absolute worst thing you could think of actually happened. Next, we also have Hawaii being warned by the cruise lines to maybe rethink that new tax they're putting on cruise ships because, well, not only will they think about not going there anymore, they could be violating federal law. And then we have an update on the man, or idiot, I like to call him, who was climbing the mooring ropes in Sydney, Australia, as he has now been charged, and what kind of fines and maybe even jail time he could be looking at. So some very, very sad news as a family with their 2-year-old son was sailing out of Rome on the Costa Toscana when, this child had had some medical issues, some heart issues, but during the cruise he was really energetic and really seemed to be back to normal, like a normal self and everything, and it really inspired the family and thought, everything was looking on the upside, when unfortunately one of the nights the child collapsed and they immediately called for medical aid. Unfortunately, they were unable to revive the child, and I don't know what more might have been done if they were on land compared to being on a cruise ship. I mean, they have qualified doctors and nurses and things like that, but they don't have all the technology that they have, on land in a big hospital if they were nearby. It's just a very sad story. It just goes to show you got to live every moment you can, and at least they may have some happy memories of the child enjoying his time on that cruise ship. Like I said, it had been ongoing issues, and they were just trying to show the child, happy days, and you cannot blame parents for doing something like that. Condolences again to the family out there. That is was always my biggest fear, is something happening to my kids. It still is. My kids and my grandkids. It's still top of my list. Next, let's talk about Hawaii. And remember, Hawaii passed that bill to include cruise lines in their, what they call the Temporary Hotel Act kind of thing, where, people who are staying one night and that they have to pay hotel taxes. Well, cruise ships don't stay, they dock and they're paying port fees already. Well, now they're telling them that, that hotel in the port is considered a hotel now, and you have to pay the hotel tax besides that. But apparently the Cruise Line Association, CLIA, has now sent a message to the governor as well as other state legislators, and just saying, you might want to rethink that decision, because you actually could be violating federal law and you may get into trouble and actually end up in court against the federal government. So yeah, I don't know exactly what they're claiming the difference is and what the laws are, but they're saying besides us just may not be going there anymore and pulling out the different cruise lines, it also may be the fact that you may actually get sued by the federal government and end up spending all that money you thought you were going to make defending your decision to do it. And remember, the cruise lines do already pay port fees and taxes for every passenger in the dock. They're not raising that. They're looking to almost double it by adding them to this new hotel feature, which, I don't know, seems to be a back-end way of doing things. But I'm not a government official. I'm not anything to do with this. It just, it would seem better if they just started saying, what, we're going to charge you a little more for your port fees and have that, instead of charging for every stop they do extra besides the port fees, because you can guess, once this legislation goes into effect, that's not going to stop the port fees from going up either. It's still going to go up. So yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see what's happening with this whole decision in Hawaii. And finally, we have the gentleman in Sydney, Australia, who was climbing the mooring ropes and caused all kinds of commotion and everything. They're nicknaming him Spider-Man. I guess maybe he's done this before. But he has now been charged with trespassing and as well as maritime trespassing. He's in complete areas he's not allowed to be. And it could range in a ton of different things. One, it could be just house arrest. One, it could be just fines. Another thing, it could be jail time. There's so many options available to the courts and the prosecution, and this is something that they want to crack down on. And they've actually come out and said, hey, you know what? This is something we may just have to set an example for. We can't have people making dangerous decisions that could also, injure other people from doing something silly and stupid. Rescue workers who have to be called in to try and help somebody. What if a crew member tried to help this person by climbing down the mooring ropes to help him down? Any number of things could have happened in this situation, and really it's not a thing that we want anyone to be doing out there. If you're endangering yourself for any reason out there, a lot of people say, well, it's their own decision if they want to endanger themselves, right? We don't stop people from skiing down a mountain at 100 miles an hour. We don't, stop people from jumping out of airplanes with a parachute, and maybe that will open, won't open, who knows? But why should we stop people from doing things like this? Let the natural selection take effect. That may be well and good. It's the other people that possibly get injured. The rescue workers, the 911 rescue calls, the fire department, the police, the ambulances. Who knows in certain situation who gets injured? And it's all because some dummy decided to do something very, very stupid. And I, for one, hope they throw the book at him. Absolutely hope they throw the book at him. Because, yeah, there's no reason for doing something this dangerous and this risky for any reason. Let me know in the comments down below. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is, just let him be. It was harmless. No one got hurt. Do we wait until somebody does get hurt? Or do we put an end to it and crack down on it right now? Let me know in the comments down below. And until next time, I hope you appreciate this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Want to see more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world? Hit that subscribe button. Until next time, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.